Hello, folks. It is Saturday, and I have to turn the music off for the reason that I always tell you, so that I don't get in trouble with the law. But I wake up this Saturday morning, the 9th of June. It's been a rather interesting week. A lot of things going on. But I just found out that guitarist-songwriter Danny Kirwan, who was once in Fleetwood Mac, my personal favorite version of Fleetwood Mac, has died. And I was listening to Bare Trees. I have it on vinyl too, but these were easily grabbed. And Future Games, these are two of my favorite albums by Fleetwood Mac. His songwriting, gentle, kind of soft. He was a good guitar player. But rest in peace, Danny. Yeah, I like those more than any other era of Fleetwood Mac, including Peter Green. Of course, the Peter Green is the most highly regarded by musicians, and I respect that and regard it as well. Then Play On is a great album. I have it. But these are my personal favorites. Dust, Woman of 1,000 Years, Sands of Time. Sands of Time is one of my favorite songs off of Future Games. I want to talk about a few things, but I want to first thank you, my friends. Thank you, Trish Mullins, for sending me some Charlie Parker. Now, Charlie Parker is someone who's a part of my history. I hardly listen to Charlie Parker. I totally understand and recognize his importance. He was a one-of-a-kind and moved music, not just jazz, but he moved music ahead with his improvisational ability and his ability to take flight with ideas, melodic ideas. This is apparently a recording that was sitting on the shelves for many years, finally got put out. It's a low quality recording. You have to remember the time of Charlie Parker. And when it was happening, I dare say he was not fully appreciated, or even people really realized what they had in front of them. So, audience recording most likely. Thank you, Trish. Thank you very much. Mauricio Alvarado of Rockin' Pens is just blowing up, and I'm really proud of you, Mauricio. We've never met, but I pick up on your vibration through your work and your pictures and your posts. You love this work, you're good at it, and you have somehow done the right thing and made it your career, and it's exploding. He's doing official merchandise for many of the biggest rock acts in the world. He just sent me the Genesis pens, which I greatly appreciate. Historically, Genesis come at the top of any list that I would write. I discovered them as a teen at a time when it was what I really needed. It was this particular album that did it. When I heard Foxtrot for the first time, it scared me because it was what I was looking for. That's the only way I can describe it. These pins are amazing. Here we have Peter Gabriel with the bat wings. Sorry that I cannot. Don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? I'll leave the link to his website. He's doing Jethro Tull merchandise now. Go, Mauricio, go. And the flower head. All iconic images related to classic Genesis. Thank you for sharing them with me, Mauricio. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do want to talk about Anthony Bourdain. Rest in peace, Anthony. He was not a musician, but he was one of us. Most people that I know what I mean when I say he was one of us. He was a real person. He was real. He was always real. He was deathly honest, which is why he in his own way, was a game changer with his shows, with his travels, with his writing. He was so real. And, excuse me, could say a lot about his passing, his suicide. I'm going to try to remember what I can. But one of the things that I know that makes Anthony significant to a lot of people beyond his food and book is his connection to music. He was one of the people who was actually at one of the ground zeros of music history, which is New York, 1977, basically. He was on the scene. You know, he was working as a cook, whatever else he was doing. He was also a junkie. And so he was down there in the Bowery, in his own words, you know, listening to that music, copying from the same dealers. He was one of us. He was he was bigger than punk rock, but he definitely was punk rock. And for me, punk rock, I don't care what it means to other people. What it means to me, it means I identify with it strongly. And I do know that there are opinions about punk rock saying like, what are 50-year-old people doing still wearing mohawks and acting like kids? That's not what it's about for me. And I know that's not what it was about for Anthony. It is about who you are and just relating to the fact that you're very real. You're not a cartoon cutout. You're not a cardboard person who just wants to fit into fake shit society. You want to keep it real. I wouldn't be surprised if in Anthony's mind, dealing with his depression, whatever else was going on with him, whether or not he was back on drugs, I don't know. He was on location in France working on a show when he hung himself. Not long after that, other person from the fashion industry killed herself. None of us will know what was going on in either of their minds. I wouldn't be surprised if indeed her suicide fit in with his thoughts. What I mean by that is, okay, there's a lot I'd like to say. I don't know if I can get it out. But online, the outpouring of grief and love for Bourdain's passing has been mixed with all this, call a hotline, reach out. You know, people mean well, but people who write that stuff don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't. Suicide hotlines, you don't, unless you've been through it, and I have been through 3 serious suicide attempts. The first one I was 10 years old. You can't even see the scar on my thumb because I just started raking myself with a razor behind my mom's back because I just snapped, realizing nobody cared about me. That was what it felt like already. I was the middle kid of 5, and already it just seemed like nobody cares about you. You know, only thing they want you for is to do stuff for you. And the sexual abuse had already started too, and that was on me too. It's like, why is this happening to me? What's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? Okay. What I'm saying is, see, by the time let me get this out, there's a lot on my mind. By the time I had my 3rd suicide attempt at 19 or 20, it wasn't about nobody cares about me. It was, I don't care, and a whole lot of other things, including my depression, which comes in waves. I handle it much better now. Deep clinical depression is not causal. It's not because you broke up with your girlfriend. It's not because you don't have any money. It's chemical, and it comes on, and it's cyclical, and it sucks, okay? And I know it, and I have it, I deal with it, okay? So to get back to Anthony Bourdain, a suicide hotline wouldn't have done him or anyone any good. When you're going to kill yourself, you're not going to tell anyone. It's when it's a cry for help. It's when you're in the throes of desperation or whatever's going on with you that you do reach out. It's because you don't want to kill yourself. That's when people call suicide hotlines, if and when they ever do, or when they reach out to friends. if you're going to end it, you're not telling anyone. You're going to do it, and that's what happened. Okay, so all this impassioned call a suicide hotline. It may be helpful to some, but that's not the fucking answer. Okay, it's not. People are always looking for quick, shallow answers to shit, and life is too deep. God damn it, I'm cursing because so many people just don't take the time to go deeper. Okay, there have been countless posts and comments in the public and the media about how Anthony appeared to have it all, and how he appeared to have acquired what most of us want. And that's just fucking shallow, that the majority of people still don't get that materialism is not the best. It's not the best way to live. It's the big problem with the world is that our bottom line is stuff, not the soul, not the spirit, not people. Do I think this fits in with the narrative regarding suicide? Very much so. We're not valued, Anthony, on the outside, appeared to have it all. He even had a little daughter, and he killed himself. I understand. Personally, I think if more people were not so caught up in the fake thing of just fitting in and looking good and comparing and to other people, they'd see how shallow and vapid that shit is, Go deeper, Life, what is life really about? What is really important to you? Is it really about having the finest car, the prettiest partner, the biggest bank account? If that is that really the measure of a truly awake human being? From my experience, the answer is absolutely not. And that's why Anthony Bourdain's suicide is touching so many people, messing with so many people's heads. The whole planet really could just try a lot harder. The average person really we're just way too busy caught up in trying to just look good for others as opposed to getting our shit together. Anthony Bourdain,
someone who just had enough. Here's another thing. If you have a real heart and a real soul and you become rich, you can only get so much pleasure out of flaunting it in the face of others, which is why I have so much disdain for a lot of rich people, because a big part of their a big part of their trip is, I have it and you don't, and I flaunt it. I hope my computer's glitching. Fuck. I hope it caught what I just said. I'm going to stop here and check it out.